right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, the Blues are changing their tune. The reason a losing record isn't to blame for a coaching shakeup.
What a day it was. In November, it was in the 70s, and we were only a couple of degrees away from a record. Enjoy it while it lasts. Big changes are on the way off to the Northwest. What that means for us overnight and the rest of the week.
Our top story, a teen hockey player critically injured in a highway shooting.
When something like this happens, you want to try to help and support.
Tonight, the senseless crime bringing opponents together.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Laura Barcheski. Mike Bush has the night off. The 16-year-old was shot last night on I-55 near Loughborough as his father was driving him home from a hockey game at Afton Ice Rink. Just hours ago, the family of the CBC student shared a heartfelt message on Facebook asking for continued prayers for their son and his medical team. Our Justina Coronel shares how the local hockey community is rallying in support.
As hockey teams compete in South St. Louis County, the absence of one family is felt. Colin Brown, a 16-year-old hockey player with CBC High School and Afton Youth Hockey, should be on the ice.
He's a great kid, great player, and we really are. Our prayers are going out to that family. Really hope he recovers well.
At the Kennedy Rec Center Sunday afternoon, one less game is happening. This is after Seckman and CBC were scheduled to play, but after the shooting, the game was canceled. Saturday night around 10:30, St. Louis police say a shooting happened on Interstate 55 near Bates. According to police, the driver said someone shot into his car and a bullet struck his 16-year-old son. That father continued to make his way towards Broadway and Walnut, getting help from police and EMS.
That enough is enough. We continue to hear these unfortunate stories over and over again, and it's to the point that we are actually tuning these things out.
Concerned over the crime is Dr. Marty Casey with the Ungun Institute, an organization focused on reducing violence. She's sad to hear the 16-year-old is critically injured.
We can no longer just be innocent bystanders. We have to stand up. We have to stand up. That's the only way we're going to see changes.
Dr. Casey works to raise awareness, and Gary Miller with Seckman Hockey works to raise funds.
As soon as I canceled the game in our Crossbar app, all the parents asking what we could do. Is there a meal train? Is there donations?
While supporting different teams, this moment brings them together as one, rallying for a recovery, an effort not going unnoticed by the Brown family, sharing on Facebook that they're grateful for the overwhelming support from teams in the Midwest.
I mean, yes, sports are competitive and you kind of get caught up, especially hockey is very intense, but when something like this happens, it really smacks you into reality, like what's important. So obviously I think a lot of parents are going to hug their kids tighter tonight.
Justina Coronel, 5 on Your Side.
Fox Warriors Hockey is also collecting donations for the family. If you'd like to donate, you can head to our website at KSDK.com and go to the As Seen on TV section. In a letter to parents tonight, CBC administrators say a prayer service will be held tomorrow. Counselors will also be on hand for extra support, and anyone with information about this shooting can contact police at 314-444-5371. Developing tonight, we're working to learn more about a police chase that started in Brooklyn, Illinois, and ended with a crash in North St. Louis. This video is from the scene near McKinley Street and I-70. We still haven't heard back from police about any injuries or what led up to this chase. Well, we hope you got outside today because it may have been the last warm day for a while. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us with what we can expect for the Thanksgiving holiday week. It seems a lot more like November, right,
Yeah,
Gary?
it sure does. Yeah, we haven't felt that in the 70s today. We kind of forget that it is November 24th and Thanksgiving is approaching, but, you know, it didn't feel that way at all today. Looking outside right now as we continue to talk about what's happening here, it's quiet. The wind is still up, and if you go outside, you see this warm thumb of air here, and that's the warm front that we're kind of settled into for now. As we look at temperatures, still in the 60s at this moment, 51 in Kansas City, though. It will not take long for things to be a little different here for us over the next several hours, but it's going to take a while. This is not going to come right away. In fact, you're going to wake up and it's just as warm, but if we look to the northwest, that's where we see that snow, and this is not going to work its way in. This is all drifting well off to the east. And this doesn't bring much moisture, nor does it bring the cold air that interacts with that moisture. So look what it is overnight. The same temperature. It's in the mid-50s, and we have a slight chance for a sprinkle. But the big story for us is the rain chances have changed a little bit for the holiday Wednesday into Thursday, and we've got some serious serious cold en route. We cannot stress that enough. I do want to talk about those rain chances. I'm looking at several airports that may have some minor delays. If you're traveling, you want to stay ahead for that. And also we'll talk about when temperatures are not only below freezing, but way below freezing.
Thanks, Gary. You're taking a live look at the Enterprise Center, where some big changes are on the way for the Blues ahead of their next home game. The team announced today they've fired head coach Drew Bannister after losing 7 of their last 9 games. 5 on Your Side sports director Frank Cusimano shows us who's stepping in to lead the team.
When the president of the franchise thinks you can be a playoff team and you're tied for 11th in the conference with almost every player regressing, a change at the coaching spot should not be a surprise. So out is Drew Bannister and in is Jim Montgomery. Resume: Montgomery had the highest winning percentage of any coach in the league over the last 2+ seasons. He signed a 5-year deal with the Blues today. Bannister got the job last season when the Blues fired Craig Berube. Doug Armstrong said the move was not based on the performance of Bannister, but rather the availability of Montgomery. He was fired by the Bruins on Tuesday. He had success in Dallas before being a Blues assistant. The Blues struggled again last night in a 3-1 loss to the Islanders. Montgomery becomes the 3rd coach the Blues have had in less than a year, and clearly Army is a fan of his work.
Talking to the people that I know around the league and around his team, he has an even keel. He's ready to push the best players to be the best they can be. But he has a relationship that can make everyone feel important on a team, which is key. So I just think, quite honestly, that, you know, every day you gain more experience and you gain more knowledge of the league and of yourself and how to become better. He's a relentless worker.
One more note about Montgomery. 30 years after he finished his decorated career at the University of Maine, he signed his first pro contract and played with St. Louis. What comes around goes around.
Frank will have more on the decision tonight on Sports Plus. The Blues will be back in St. Louis Saturday to face the Philadelphia Flyers. As President-elect Donald Trump builds his cabinet, one Missouri Republican is letting us know tonight how he's voting on Trump's picks.
I'm a yes on Pam Bondi. I'm a yes on Pete Hegseth. I'm a yes on Tulsi Gabbard. Absolutely.
Senator Eric Schmidt spoke with Meet the Press this morning. It comes after Trump announced former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi as his new pick for Attorney General, as well as growing controversy around sexual assault allegations surrounding Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth and allegations of Russian ties against Tulsi Gabbard, his pick for Director of National Intelligence. Schmidt says the Senate will discover any truth behind those allegations. He believes these are the candidates America needs.
Maybe that's exactly what we need right now. President Trump listened to the American people when they screamed about these issues. They want to be heard. They feel like Washington's broken, and I think bringing somebody in like Tulsi Gabbard is a welcome news.
The Senate will begin confirmation hearings in January once the new Congress is sworn in. Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth also commenting on the president-elect's picks today. The Democrat spoke on CBS's Face the Nation, saying she's, quote, deeply concerned Trump's picks will be confirmed. The military veteran also went on to criticize comments from Pete Hegseth on how women should not be in the military.
The ones who are in those roles have met the same standards as the men and have passed the very rigorous testing. And so he's just flat out wrong. Our military could not go to war without the women who wear this uniform. And frankly, America's daughters are just as capable of defending liberty and freedom as her sons.
Duckworth served in the military for over 20 years. She earned the Purple Heart after losing both of her legs in the Iraq War. Tonight, St. Louis honored the life of a former state representative and civil rights trailblazer, Esther Haywood. She died earlier this month at the age of 84. Haywood served for more than 2 decades as the president of the St. Louis County NAACP. A public viewing for Haywood ended around 7 tonight. Another public viewing will start tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Prince of Peace in St. Louis.
From Girl Scouts to first responders,
I just think they're just great members of the community.
the Save a Local troop made in tonight's Making a Difference. Gathering together for their first Thanksgiving feast,
There is a need for us to embrace our new arrivals.
how the newest St. Louisans are getting a taste of an American holiday.
As we look ahead to Wednesday, temperatures are much colder than they were today by some 30 degrees. However, there is still looming how that system works its way over the 24-hour period of the holiday and how it's going to impact your travel in the region.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
When you think of Girl Scouts, you might think of cookies, crafts, and camping. As Mike Bush reports in tonight's Making a Difference story, one local troop is being celebrated for something far sweeter.
You guys have your garden hoses at home. How much water do those spray? A little bit.
At Metro West Fire Protection District, today's lesson wasn't about badges or cookies, but courage.
These ones spray 160 gallons a minute.
These third graders became first responders.
So we're going to come up this way.
It all began in a nearby park for what was supposed to be a routine meeting.
So this was our first meeting of the year. We were leaving Ellisville Elementary to walk to a park where we're going to do our first Girl Scout meeting of 2024.
But before they could even start their meeting, 9-year-old Amelia Whitener spotted trouble.
We were playing on the park and I saw this house like smoking.
She wasn't sure if what she was seeing was normal, but she knew enough to speak up. Her troop leader quickly dialed 911. Within minutes, firefighters arrived, breaking down doors to battle a blaze. It was an intense scene for the young scouts to witness.
There was a lot of nervousness around the event. Some of the girls were, they were really concerned about the people in the house and the pets in the house.
Thankfully, no one was home at the time, and because of their quick action, firefighters were able to contain the damage.
Sometimes if no one's home and we have to break into a door.
That's why the scouts are here today, learning that sometimes heroes have to break things to save things.
You was the one that called? Oh, thank you. But thank you all. We appreciate you greatly.
But the real surprise wasn't part of the tour at all.
Our doggies was safe. Everybody was safe.
Troy and Ramona Galloway had lived in that house for 34 years.
We're really grateful for you, and we're really grateful for the fire district.
We're grateful that you guys are safe.
Well, thank you.
Now they'd come to the firehouse for one reason.
Oh, if that don't melt your heart.
To wrap these Girl Scouts in grateful hugs.
Actually, I was out of town working. That's a wonderful sign of maturity, leadership, and we came down here because I feel like these people need to have recognition.
Seeing them today and getting thanks from them was like very impactful, and I could tell the girls were very appreciative.
In a world of bystanders, one Girl Scout chose to speak up.
She was the only person that actually told a parent and saved the house.
I just think they're just great members of the community, and I think that when you hear that this sounds cliche, it takes a village, I think that's true.
4, 5, 6. You 6 up in.
They came to learn about firefighters, but ended up teaching us all.
You'll get a turn. I'm going to send everyone through.
When something doesn't look right, even the smallest voice can make the biggest difference.
One more time. Go firefighters!
And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference, send Mike an email to mbush@ksdk.com. Millions of Americans are preparing to hit the road or fly to their Thanksgiving celebrations this week. 5 on Your Side's Paul Cook shows us what St. Louisans can expect as they make their way to their family feast in tonight's On the Move.
Time to go on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guide from Today in St. Louis. Can you believe it's Thanksgiving week already? AAA estimates more than 1.7 million travelers than were on the roads in 2023, which means almost 80 million people navigating a trip sometime between Tuesday and the Monday after Thanksgiving. So let's break it down. Air travel is expected to break a new record with almost 6 million people traveling domestically. So it's going to be important to check your flight and be at the airport at least 2 hours ahead of that flight. 71 million will be on the roads by car, traveling at least 50 miles from home. We're talking about massive amounts of drivers out there, so you're going to want to do your best to try and manage your way around the heaviest periods of congestion. Here they are. According to our traffic system experts, see if you can start your journey before 10 a.m. if you're leaving on Monday through Wednesday. The heaviest window of traffic is 1 in the afternoon till 5 p.m. So that's a no-no if you really hate traffic. But coming back from Thanksgiving, experts advise leaving before 1 p.m. on Saturday or Sunday and not being on the road between 4 and 8 p.m. on Saturday and 12 and 6 on Sunday the 1st. And filling the tank won't cost you as much this year either. AAA says gas will be less than $2.70 a gallon in Missouri and about $3.19 in Illinois. So let the adventure begin. Remember, with a little planning, it can be a lot less frustrating. So stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
It's not just traffic you have to watch out for. Storms across the country are expected to delay flights ahead of Thanksgiving. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now with how those weather systems could impact you right here, Gary.
Yeah. We're obviously in the middle of the warm sector of it, and it's the warmest day that we're going to see for at least the next 2 weeks. We've got a series of these systems out west, and the first one starting to at least settle in just a little bit. We got into the 70s, as I mentioned, 60s on the other side of the state, locally mid to upper 60s, right around 70 degrees. And as we look downtown, it's quiet. And when we go outside, it's very rare that on the 24th of November, we can go outside and say, it's still in the 60s, 63 right now. We got a south breeze at around 10 miles an hour. We got to 71. We're normally 52. And for our records, we were only 3 degrees away from a record. It was the third warmest day we've ever had on November 24th in St. Louis. So it's this warm thumb of air, and there it is off to the northwest. That's a series of first systems. Now, this doesn't carry a lot of moisture with it, but it may provide a sprinkle for us tomorrow, and I think that's very early. But keep in mind, I want to stress this, if you're staying up late with us and you're trying to figure out how to dress, when you wake up in the morning, it's going to be warm. The second half of the day, it's going to be cooler. It's not the same all the time. This will gradually cool down throughout the rest of the day, but this is not some big 20-degree temperature drop throughout the day. This is gradual, so you'll notice it as the wind shifts from the south to the northwest at around 15 miles an hour. Here's the area off to our northwest, and we see this atmospheric river. We see a pretty strong low, and it's pretty much sending all these systems in, and that's what we're going to look at as it works us over the Front Range into the Four Corners region and the Panhandle. That's where it strengthens. It's where does that go, though? We've been wondering where does that go and how it's going to impact us, and I think we're starting to figure out what's going to happen here as this gets closer to working its way onshore in this impulse, and you'll see this by Wednesday. I think we start off with some light rain, maybe not for everybody, but watch the snow in Denver, and it's the position of this was maybe a little further south now, and I think what we're going to see is we don't see quite as much of an influence of cold air, and we also don't look at perhaps that cold air or this moving far enough north to interact with that cold air. I think the low may move a little further south, and that gives us maybe a drier, at least period, for Wednesday and Thursday, and maybe make your travel a lot better. Because look at this cold air, it's around, but it's not freezing. It's not in the 20s, and that's where it gets dangerous if you're driving from St. Louis to Chicago or vice versa or across the state. Because for your travel on Wednesday, I think you'll see that snow, but watch it, as far as potential delays in the air. I think maybe Denver, Chicago, or Salt Lake City. These are not reds, and I'm not in charge of the airlines. I'm just telling you, I think there may be some minor delays, but no hammering shutdowns. So as we look for our areas for the early Thanksgiving forecast, maybe some rain, but I think it's out of here pretty quickly, and then it's dry. That really cold air, this stuff is bottling up, and it's a series of a couple of them that are headed our way starting next Sunday. We're going to have a big-time different conversation as temps fall throughout the day. 56 in the morning, 47 Tuesday. Showers around, but look, it's still 48, and it only drops to 36 overnight. And then by Thursday, it's 42. And we're going to stay that way till it gets really cold by Sunday.
Thanks, Gary. An early Thanksgiving doubling as a first Thanksgiving, the group welcoming their new neighbors to the holiday. Thanksgiving started early for St. Louis newcomers. The International Institute put on a traditional Thanksgiving dinner for immigrants and refugees spending their first Thanksgiving here.
And for their first Thanksgiving with the International Institute, these two WashU students, originally from Hong Kong, are curious.
So I think it's good for me to have this chance to celebrate this holiday together with other people from all over the world, from different cultures. I think it's nice.
They had all the classic Thanksgiving staples, turkey, mashed potatoes, and green bean casserole. For Bojing, her favorite tonight wasn't on the traditional list.
I think it's still the chicken. The taste is really good. It's very tender. And I think they are very generous about sharing the food. I'm very appreciated that.
Appreciation is what it's all about for International Institute President R.A. Benson.
This really demonstrates to our new arrivals that St. Louis is a welcoming community, that we want them here, that we appreciate their presence, but also it tells them that they are not alone, that in search of family they have the International Institute and our partners to celebrate such a special holiday.
Benson says he wants immigrants and refugees to know their value.
They revitalize our workforce, they help grow the economy, They contribute to the development of the economy. They bring diversity to our experience here in St. Louis, and it's everyone that benefits from it.
Jing says she could see the joy around the room.
I think they're putting a great vibe here because I think a lot of family come here and enjoy their time together.
Institute staff say sharing the true meaning of the holiday is important now more than ever.
Thanksgiving represents a time to reflect on blessings and all that we're thankful for.
Tonight was the third Thanksgiving meal they've held at the International Institute, and they served around 50 different nationalities. In plan to do this every year, they have new arrivals. St. Louis University students are also getting into the holiday spirit. The organization Campus Kitchen spent the weekend preparing 200 Thanksgiving meals for people across the area. Last year, the group handed out around 400 meals to families. Students say it's a great way to get involved in the community and fight food insecurity.
When you think about looking towards a job, going to further your education, without food, having that basis, that kind of building block for you, it's really hard to accomplish all those other things you want to do without that security. So we hope to provide that.
The meals include all the Thanksgiving essentials like turkey, stuffing, and green bean casserole. Coming up, Wicked fans are defying gravity and movie theater rules, the event letting the audience be a part of the show. The St. Louis Science Center hosted a Wicked Fun event today. The center held a sing-along screening of Wicked the movie. Right now, theaters across the country are asking moviegoers to not sing along in theaters. The center will host screenings through December 2nd. And the St. Louis Zoo welcomed a new baby elephant this weekend. Jet was born Saturday morning and is the first Asian elephant born from artificial insemination at the zoo. He and his mom Jade are bonding together away from the public, but Jet will be allowed out into the habitat when he's older and when it's warmer outside. Well, that's all our time for 5 on Your Side at 10. We are always streaming on 5+. Sports Plus with Frank Cusimano is next. Then start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great week.